day here in Nashville, Tennessee. Sunshine, blue skies, temperatures in the upper 60s. Great crowd on hand as the Gamecocks and the Commodores about to do battle. Steve Spurrier in his second year at South Carolina has never lost to the Commodores. And Bobby Johnson now in year number 5 with the program, and what a job he has done, coming off perhaps the biggest victory in the program's history last week in Athens against a top 25 ranked Georgia Bulldog squad. Ryan Suckup, one of the stronger legs in the Southeastern Conference, kicks it off, and this one will be returned by Vanderbilt. Out to the 20-yard line, still scrambling, trying to find some daylight is Alex Washington, and he's finally brought down at about the 24-yard line. The Commodores' offensive line's been banged up a bit. They're missing their top guy in Stamper at right tackle. Elliott Hood will take his place. Of course, you take a look at some of the weapons. Jackson Garrison, one of the top rushers in the Southeastern Conference, and Chris Nixon really making some noise at the quarterback spot, and they have one of the top receivers in number 10, Earl Bennett, who caught an amazing 16 balls last year against the Gamecocks. Nixon 9 touchdowns already on the season. He'll hand it off, first play of the game. It's busted outside to the near sideline and down all the way to the 39-yard line is 22, Jackson Garrison. It'll be a first down, a gain of 15 on the play. The Gamecock defensive line, led by Nathan Pepper, has really picked up his play up the middle. Jasper Brinkley, one of 2 Brinkley boys on the Gamecock defense, leading the team in tackles, and then secondary, kind of the one headliner on this defense, Fred Bennett, an All-American cornerback. And we'll see if he'll be matched up against Earl Bennett for much of the day. Nixon, stretch handoff, and this time nothing doing, snuffed out immediately by the Gamecock defense, and that is Casper Brinkley, the brother of Jasper. Casper plays defensive end.
And Jackson Garrison tries to come out the back door for the second consecutive play, only Casper Brinkley just clamps it down, makes a nice play, holds his own.
So a loss on the play of 3.
And you're kind of surprised to see them come out. 2 quick running plays, haven't put the ball in the air, not out of the gun either.
Second down and 13 as the Commodores with a 3-wide look on this play. Jackson Garrison, the lone back. And he'll get it again between the tackles, and once again the holes are plugged in a hurry. A host of Gamecock defenders, including 43, Ryan Brown, in on the stop.
And Nathan Pepper really, as you mentioned, picking up his game, dominated the line of scrimmage right there as he drives into the backfield, sheds his block, makes a big tackle. Watch right here, he's coming off the left side. Jackson Garrison looking for the cutback. Pepper says, and then here comes his friend.
So far, the Gamecock defensive line winning the battle in the last couple of plays here. That sets up a 3rd down and 14.
And Nixon's very comfortable out of the shotgun, and look for him to be a dual threat. He can take off and make something happen that way, too.
Earl Bennett, top of your screen. A lot of pressure, and Nixon is brought down. 3 black jerseys in the area. Take your pick. Jasper Brinkley was back there, as well as Eric Norwood.
As they walk out, Jasper Brinkley on the slot. Watch him come off the right side here. He lines up like he's covering the slot, comes inside, makes a big play, and then all his buddies come again. And this is something that we might need to take watch of. The revamped offensive line of the Vanderbilt Commodores, a little struggling on that first drive.
Brinkley coming into this game 8th in the Southeastern Conference with 44 tackles. Back to punt for the Commodores. Brett Upson. Kenny McKinley, the lone back. He'll watch it bounce at the 40. Takes a Gamecock bounce and will be stopped dead at the 43-yard line. So it'll be good field position for the Gamecocks.
Professor? I'm Sarah from Wednesday's physics class.
Miss Evans, 3rd row.
About our assignment.
Yes.
There is no proof yet.
Correct.
No definitive answer.
Right.
So our search is for the questions.
Exactly.
Exactly.
once again. Newton barks the signals, looks to his right. And the ball hits the turf. Now Newton, a little jump pass, and a whole lot of danger in that throw as Corey Boyd is thumped behind the line of scrimmage for a loss.
And a big-time hit right there by number 33, Rashard Langford. I really like this guy. He plays the strong safety spot. Bobble snap. Newton comes up, still makes a play out of it. And sure enough, Rashard Langford on Johnny on the spot.
Loss of 2, second down and 12 yards to go. Sidney Rice, top of your screen. Newton instead looking the other way. Now the spin move. Rolling out to his left, throws it from the 30, and he'll wisely throw out of bounds as nothing open downfield.
That's actually a good play. Those are the plays that don't go on the stat sheet. Chuck it into the stands, go to the next play.
Offensive line for Carolina. This started off as a major weak spot, but Hutch Eckerson's really picked up his play starting at left tackle today. And, of course, the weapons for Carolina, Corey Boyd coming off a big game against Kentucky. Sidney Rice is a guy they want to get involved in the offense a little bit more. He's only had one game where he's caught touchdown passes. That was against Florida Atlantic.
Well, he's about to get man coverage right here. He's going to get some man coverage unless they drop Jonathan Goff offensive coverage, which they do.
3rd and 12. Vanderbilt bringing the blitz. Newton dances, now throws, and it's unable to be caught by Corey Boyd. Kind of a quick toss to Boyd as Marcus Buggs was there.
And I told you this Vanderbilt defense is unheralded. Not many people have given them attention. I like this team. They bring the blitz. A nice job by the outside guy. Forces Savell Newton to scramble. Savell tries to make a play out of it. No go. Great job. 3 and out for the Vandy defense.
Very impressive play by Bobby Johnson's defensive unit there as Suckup on to punt the football from the Gamecock 41. Alex Washington, lone back. And Suckup kind of shanks this one. It'll bounce out of bounds at the 26-yard line. That could have been a lot worse. Suckup comes in #1 in the SEC in net punting and #2 in the country in net punting, but that time didn't get a hold of it. First down and 10 for the Commodores. Again, a good crowd on hand. A number of Gamecock fans making the trip. About 5,000 tickets were sold, and the Vandy faithful has come out in strong numbers. Vanderbilt, a lot to be excited about after what happened last week. There's a one-hopper intended for Stephen Bright.
I'll tell you why I said, it was such a pretty-looking play, the way they set it up. Stephen Bright coming flat behind the line of scrimmage, just runs a little flat route, and Chris Nixon, watch the rollout right here. The play's designed perfectly. He's got the defensive end to come upfield. It could be a big gainer. Chris Nixon pulls the cord, comes up short.
Stephen Bright might be a name familiar to a lot of people watching back in South Carolina. He's a senior out of Greer, played at Riverside High School, a quarterback in high school.
A bunch of South Carolina ties on this sideline right here for Vanderbilt.
Second down, 10 yards to go. Draw play, Nixon trying to get loose to the tackle by number 40. That's Eric Norwood, who continues to impress the freshman out of Georgia.
And and Nixon got an outstanding block by Kason Jackson Garrison. Watch the block by his tailback right here. He sets up, he sits, and then he comes up and makes a good block on the linebacker. But like you said, Norwood said, hold on to him. And really, the Gamecock defense is swarming pretty well. You see a lot of red. You see a lot of Gamecock players peeling off that pile every time there's a tackle.
Here's a 3rd down and 5 from the 31. Trips to the right-hand side for the Commodores. Gamecocks sending 5. Here's the pass intended for number 7, incomplete, but a flag on the play. That was Sean Walker, the intended target, and it looks like might have a pass interference call on the Gamecocks.
Walker had a big first down catch on that game-winning drive last week, and it looks like it's going to be defensive holding from the guesser.
Pass interference. Defense #1. First down at the spot of the foul.
So that'll keep the Vanderbilt drive alive. Might have flagged Chris Hampton on that one.
Look right there, it's just a simple slant route, and yep, Hampton's just a little bit early.
And Munnerlyn actually
That's right,
on the coverage. Hampton helping out. Captain Munnerlyn, the freshman.
Right, lining up because Vandy came out with 4 receivers.
So a first down and 10. Jackson Garrison on the carry. Tries to gut it up the middle. 2-3 tough yards. for the leading rusher for the Commodores, Kaysen Jackson Garrison, a 6'1", 220-pound junior out of Knoxville, Tennessee.
And one of the things, this revamped offensive line, we touched on it, losing Brian Stamper, losing Eames, the guard. They come back and kind of hodgepodge their group. A lot of young guys, but Coach Johnson feels pretty comfortable with those young guys that have got in there a little bit last week.
You got a Bennett matchup on this play. Earl Bennett working the slot, covered by Fred Bennett, but it's another carry up the middle and a hole, very large hole for Jackson Garrison between the tackles. That'll give the Commodores a first down, 16 yards on the play.
Watch the run. Watch the hole opened up by the center, Holiday, and the right guard. Nice job opening it up. The right guard, Merritt Kirchhoffer. Nice. Get off. Get low. Open the seam. Jackson Garrison, good vision, finds the hole.
Broke the tackle of Brinkley. Stoney Woodson finally brings him down for Carolina. So first and 10 now from the 44 of the Gamecocks. Another handoff up the middle, and pretty good yardage for the Commodores. That's 31, Jared Hawkins.
Right, Hawkins comes in and spells Jackson Garrison and does a nice job. But again, the credit goes to the offensive line. They're playing to South Carolina's aggressiveness up front. South Carolina is being so aggressive at the line of scrimmage. They're picking gaps, and really what the offensive line has done is gotten leverage on them and opened up the holes.
6 yards on the carry, setting up a second down and 4. Gamecocks now showing 3 men on the line. Man in motion for the Commodores, that's George Smith. And the run goes to the left side. A cutback at the 32 and spun down to the 25 is Jared Hawkins, a first down.
Hawkins again, this time they run the motion, set up the defensive end, hold him with the wide receiver, and they go backside to the weak side. Watch right here. Here's Hawkins, good job, little penetration. Good job by the tackle. The left tackle, Chris Williams, was the SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week last week, and he's continuing this week with a dominant performance thus far.
13 yards on that scamper as Jackson Garrison, the number 1 tailback, comes back in. First and 10. We're on the 26. Nixon, play action, looks downfield, now scrambles to his right. And that ball is loose, and the officials have blown it dead, and there's a flag on the play to boot.
I think they're going to call it a sack right there. Unless they're calling a hole, we're going to find out in a second. Right, intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding, interesting. Okay.
Right, so it's going to end up right at that spot anyway.
Right, just as good as a sack.
Right, and it's really this time.
Intentional grounding, number 17. Draws it down at the spot of the foul. Second down.
Right, Nixon tries to find his way, maybe buy himself a little bit of time by moving within the pocket. Nice job by the South Carolina defense right there. It's Casper Brinkley containing. Very important. When you are that defensive end, you can't let that quarterback get outside of you, but also if he steps up, you got to collapse back down.
Right. Well, anybody that saw that Auburn-Florida game a week ago, hard to take a play like that for granted. You don't know if the official is going to call it a fumble or not. Here's Nixon taking it himself. He's got a lane. Busts it outside, down the far sideline, out of bounds at the 9, and a late penalty flag.
And that's usually in the area of a personal foul if it comes in that late.
21 yards.
Incidental face mask. 5-yard penalty for number 1 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
But watch right here. It's a design play, one look. Good block by Jackson Garrison again. Hey, those are the type of tailbacks you want that block. Earl Bennett blocking downfield. Just a reach out by Munnerlin. Harmless. You know, I don't call that.
You let that one go.
You let that one go. Come on.
Well, here we go. First down and goal from the 4. The give is to Jackson Garrison, and he is pummeled to the ground by Jasper Brinkley.
That's how a middle linebacker plays football. Watch him come through here and just dominate. I mean, this is super quick. Watch Jasper Brinkley right here. One read, step, slide, come through, drive. Nice look. Nice look by our crew. Good job.
Jasper Brinkley continues to impress from that middle linebacking spot. Him and his brother, of course, coming from Georgia Military College. they were a package deal. They wanted to go to Georgia. Georgia would only offer one scholarship. They said, fine, we're going to Carolina.
Works out good for Coach Spurrier and his staff.
A loss on the play.
Another thing that goes on, now they bring in a tackle to play the tight end spot.
2nd and goal from the 5. Jackson Garrison dancing, but going the wrong way. Another loss on the play. From the gun, it's Nixon. Bennett goes in motion. Ball is snapped. Nixon looking right. Now lobs it toward the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Marlon White.
Right, Marlon White on the delayed cross. Nice little combination package and a big pickup by the offensive tackle right there with the outside pressure. Watch right here. Chris Nixon, he's waiting. He knows Marlon White's dragging across the back, right across the goal line. You see him right there, just a little bit too far. Really good job by the South Carolina Gamecock defense as they hunker down in this red zone and force them to go for 3.
And now the kicker, Bryant Honfeld, who hit perhaps the most famous field goal in Vanderbilt history. This will be from 25, and it is true. And the Commodores strike first. It's 3-0.
Honfeld is a very good kicker. He has, I saw this kid coming up, and that's not Honfeld right there, but I saw Honfeld coming up through high school and really was so consistent right here, a local product at Montgomery Bell Academy right out of Nashville, and he's had his ups and downs, had to do so much as far as kickoffs and punts last year. I think it detracted a little bit of his accuracy on his field goals, and now he's just focusing on field goals and PATs.
Honfeld, number 8 this year. We did the game last year in Columbia, and I think he was like 75, which was had to be the most awkward number I've ever seen for a kicker.
The funny thing is they always give those numbers to freshmen.
Yeah,
whether you realize it or not. Freshman kicker comes in, they don't get to pick your number. All these other kids, all the other freshmen, they come in, freshman quarterback, I'll take 3, or I'll take 1. Freshman kicker, hey, I'll take 16. No, you won't. You'll take 00. That's all we got left.
That drive, as you saw, 12 plays, 66 yards, 5 minutes and 18 seconds off the clock. Pretty much everything that Vanderbilt would have wanted, with the exception of failing to get in the end zone, having to settle for 3 there.
Right, you would, if you're Vanderbilt, hey, right now your defense gets to come back on the field, and like I told you, very unheralded defense, and you saw that in the first drive, Mike, how good they can be. They got some football players on that team.
Honfeld will kick it off as well. It is fielded at the 1 by Captain Munnerlyn. Munnerlyn, nice move near the 20. Skips out of a tackle at the 25 and surges forward past the 30 and down near the 31-yard line. Nice job by Captain Munnerlyn before Patrick Benoit makes the stop.
And you can see why South Carolina is so excited about this freshman. He's got a ton of ability, lining up as one of the corners in their nickel and dime package, and he's got some wheels. You see him break a tackle right there, and finally Honfeld, the kicker, has to make the tackle.
So 1st down and 10 for Steve Spurrier's offense here. Nothing doing on the first drive. Savell Newton works under center. Corey Boyd, the deep back. Boyd gets the carry and will surge forward for about 6 yards.
And watching Corey Boyd warm up in the pregame, you realize, they had some guys who could really pitter-patter their feet. Corey Boyd runs like a big man. He doesn't really run like a tailback. He tries to hit those seams. He's a one-cut guy. Stick his foot in the ground, get downhill as fast as you can. And I was really impressed with his size. I didn't realize how big he was.
Yeah, 6'1", 201 pounds. And one of the tougher backs that you'll find. He'll get it again. Probes the middle. Not much doing there. It'll set up a 3rd down at about 4.
2 defensive tackles from Vanderbilt, Horrocks and Brown, are really good tone setters in there. They're penetrators. They're tough. They're hard-working guys. They control the middle. That keeps Jonathan Goff free. And Jonathan Goff, who many people think will be a first-round draft pick next year, or following next year, that's why he's so effective.
Yeah, Goff, the middle linebacker, 5th in the SEC in tackles coming into this ball game. Here's a 3rd down and 4. The give is to Boyd, and it looks like he's got it. Needed the 41, and that's right where they're going to spot it.
And this is exactly what we were talking about a minute ago. Watch Boyd when he gets the football. There's no thought process. He's just going to hit it downhill right at him. Take a peek right here. Here's Boyd. One cut, bang, turn it upfield. No dancing, just keep going. First down.
Nice block on the play by the left guard, Thomas Coleman, senior out of Johnston, South Carolina. First down for Savell Newton and company. Again, it's Corey Boyd. Corey Boyd with about another 5-6 yards on that carry between the tackles, where the Gamecocks are putting some holes through. Chris Booker in on the stop for the Commodores.
I'm going to tell you a guy that I talked to you earlier in the week about, the big center, Chris White, number 60. I said, hey, you thought I was going to keep talking about all these skilled guys, but I said, this guy here, watching him on film, I'm impressed. He's tough, he's strong, does a good job of sustaining his block, and he's very rarely on the ground.
A 3-year starter for Carolina, the anchor on this offensive line. And Savell Newton going to audibilize before getting the snap from White. On a 2nd down and 4. It's to Boyd. Boyd spins and is finally brought down at the 44 of Vanderbilt. It'll be another first down. Ryan Hamilton with the stop.
You want to talk about a football block right there. Leonard Stanford, the fullback, meeting Jonathan Goff in the hole, and he comes out victorious in that one. Nice low body, short, squatty kind of fullback, just bangs up in there, sustains his block just enough for Boyd to make his cut.
Yeah, Stafford actually a walk-on defensive tackle and made the team by just blocking superb in practice.
That's it, he's found a home. You gotta love when those big beefy guys get to get in the backfield.
5'9", 240. Newton, play action, all kinds of time, launches deep, looking for Rice, can't make the catch, left his feet, and just out of the reach of the All-American.
And that's Ryan Hamilton, the safety, who picks up Rice. We all know how good he can be. He's a dominant player, and he can open up a game. 6'4", big fella, big target, all day long for Newton back there as he sits, delivers. Hey, old adage for a coach, go long, throw long. That's a good pass. I know it sounds, you know, we say, oh, it looks like he overthrew him. That's a good football pass because either his guy gets it or nobody gets it.
So a 2nd down and 10. Sidney Rice making no bones about it. He wants to get the ball more. He's got 26 catches on the air. Here's Newton on a keeper. Dances at the 40 and is brought down at the 36. You'll hear me use the word dances a lot because when Savell Newton is rushing the football, that's almost what he appears to be doing with those feet.
He can do it all, and it's really like a scat back there. Watch him. He tucks it, gets a decent block by Boyd right there, jumps through, look at him pitter-patter his feet, make a cut, but realizes, one of the things he realized, he was getting pressure from behind, so he turns his shoulder so that the defensive player can't get a swipe of the football.
There's a 3rd down and a long one from the eye. Newton, hands off, it's Boyd. He stopped short at the 35.
He doesn't have it. He's going to be still about a yard short. Good job down low by Goff and by Horrocks again. As they stay low, they control the line, and everybody jumps into the pile. And it's decision time for Coach Spurrier already. You see him talking it over, get the signal in. Here we go, we're going for it, no question.
Yeah, I don't think he thought about that one.
Hey, me, I would have been debating for about 15 minutes. Him, hey, let's go. Here's the next play.
And they've got a kicker that can hit it from 50 plus, but I think Steve Spurrier wants to go for the jugular on this drive. Try to get 6 on the board. It's Newton.
Good play call.
Left side to Boyd. All kinds of room, and Boyd brought down to 25 and a late flag.
If this is a hole, this will come back. We're going to find out in a second.
Curtis Gatewood, the junior out of Memphis, with the tackle.
And if Vandy players a point, it'll be 10 yards from the spot.
Offense number 4. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
It's on the receiver, Sidney Rice.
And he's getting an earful from Coach Spurrier right there. Man, that was... Coach Spurrier says, man, that was a late flag. What are you doing?
Steve Spurrier wants a piece of the entire crew right now after that call. And what that does, obviously, takes away the first down. And
right, now they'll have to kick it away. Well, maybe not.
I think Spurrier might...
We're still going for it.
Still going to go for it. Well, like you said, it's 10 yards from the spot, so it's actually...
A 4th and 5.
4th and 5. And maybe a long 4, so still makeable at this point.
Absolutely, and you know what? You're kind of in that no man's land at the 39-yard line. Do you want to kick it? Coach Spurrier says, hey, now I'm going to think about it. Look at him. He's still giving me, hey, he's still getting his money's worth on the official.
You know, I don't know if he needed to call that timeout because the end of the quarter looked to me like it was a second ahead
There's
of the
no
play clock.
timeout. That is the end of the first
Well, there you
quarter.
go.
He lucked
out on that one because it was going to be a timeout with 1 second left that he really didn't need to call. So the end of the quarter brings us to second quarter action in just a few moments. Vanderbilt on top by a field goal on CSS. Well, the Gamecocks have a 4th down and 4 as the team switch ends. Gamecocks now have the wind at their back, pretty strong wind going toward the open-ended part of Commodore Stadium. And because of that, looks like Steve Spurrier is going to go for the field goal.
Well, it's kind of funny. One of the coaches walks out, picks up a few blades of grass, throws it up in the air, and says, the wind's going this way. And Coach Spurrier says, okay, then we'll kick it.
Now, Suckup's long of the year is 49 yards, but this young man has a leg that can go much farther than that. This would be a 55-yarder. You see, he's only missed one in his career. He's yet to miss a field goal from inside of 45 yards in his 2-year career.
And if you're the Vanderbilt defense, you're thinking fake. Right now, you'll concede if he hits it, he deserves it, but you got to be thinking fake. If you're going to put pressure, you got to put pressure in the middle. You don't mess with the outside, because if he has to hit a low trajectory ball to get the distance, you might get a piece of it.
Another thing making this kick a little more difficult, it's on the left-hand hash mark. Out of the hold of Ike Crowfoot. Suckup measures it, waits for the snap. A little bit high. Crowfoot puts it down. The kick is on its way, and it is good. 55 yards. Ryan Suckup delivers, and we are tied.
I'm going to tell you right now, that was good for about another 8 or 9, too.
And one of the stronger legs in the Southeastern Conference, if not the country.
I mean, he got all of this. Take a look. He follows through. Nice. Good golf swing right there. Dead center. Look at it. He gets about 3/4 of the way up. That's an impressive kick right there. And a good, and right now, hey, it's a victory for South Carolina to get the points on the board after that 4th down mess up on the penalty.
10 plays, 31 yards, 5 minutes, 26 seconds off the clock for Steve Spurrier's offense, and again culminated by a 55-yard field goal.
But the workhorse in that drive had to be Corey Boyd, who really did a good job of running the football, and then Vanderbilt hunkering down a little bit on that 4th down play, draws a penalty.
So 2 field goals in this ball game thus far. Last year was kind of a shootout in Columbia. Jay Cutler put on a clinic, as well as Earl Bennett. And of course, Savell Newton earned SEC Player of the Week honors. He ran the ball, he caught the ball, he threw the ball, and then unfortunately for Savell, tore his Achilles in that game. And a lot of people thought this could be the end of this young man's collegiate career. Miraculously, he got back on the field in less than a year's time, and as you saw earlier on that drive, is still able to run quite well.
Oh yeah, he has all the tools. He is just a solid football player. He's not a great receiver. He's not a great quarterback. He's not a great running back. He's a great football player.
Josh Allen and Alex Washington, the 2 men back for Vanderbilt. Suckup, not only a strong leg for field goals, but he's got 12 touchbacks in his 30 kickoffs this year.
And people don't realize how important those are. When you have those touchbacks, it takes immediate pressure off your kickoff team and gives your defense kind of a comfort zone of, hey, they're going to start from the 20. They're not going to start out from midfield.
Half of his kickoffs last year were touchbacks. And special teams, an area that has really improved this year for Carolina. That's been a weak spot for this program for about a decade. Suckup, with a little bit of that wind behind his back, kicks it all the way out of the end zone. And a wise decision there by Washington to just let that baby go.
And now let's see the response by the Vanderbilt offense. Really their first drive without Stephen Wright, who they lost in that first quarter, was like down to a knee injury.
Well, in that first quarter, Vanderbilt 58 yards, Carolina 39 yards. So far the defense is doing a good job.
And we expected to see these two quarterbacks making a bunch of big plays today, but really the defenses, like you said, have stood up.
Nixon going to operate under center. Looking intercepted by Carlos Thomas. The college rules will keep him down there. Otherwise, that would have been 6. But they were trying to hit Bennett on a slant.
Right.
And I'm not sure where that throw was.
That was a bad throw. That's the bottom line. It was thrown behind. What happened was, it looks like right here, watch, I think that he thinks he's getting press coverage. Watch him drop back. He thinks he's getting press coverage. So he's throwing the adjustment. He overthrew him.
That is only Carlos Thomas's second career interception. The last one came against Georgia.
And I'm going to tell you right now, that wasn't like it was great coverage. It was just being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, the most difficult part of that play was making the diving catch. Carlos Thomas was a former receiver, so he's got pretty good hands. Newton going to tuck and run, and Newton's got a substantial gain here, 6-7 yards. Ray Brown finally brings him down.
Good patience by Newton. He waits for that defensive end to clear his space. He knows his offensive lineman got a piece of him. Let him clear his space and then cut back behind him.
Savell Newton has accounted for 27 touchdowns in his career. He's thrown for 16. He's run for 8. And he's caught 3 scores, including what turned out to be the game winner against Kentucky in the last ball game for the Gamecocks. Second down, call it 5. Interesting formation here. Got Boyd in the H-back spot. Throw to the end zone, looking for McKinley, but the coverage is there by DJ Moore, a freshman out of Spartanburg, South Carolina.
He was the athlete of the year for South Carolina, and somehow Bobby Johnson plucked him out of there and got him over here, and he's really been impressive. They really believe he's the real deal.
5'10", 175-pounder. Came in with a couple of pass breakups, one of the better tacklers, but they really are impressed with his coverage skills.
And 3rd and 5, and thus far, you know, South Carolina could really use this conversion here. If you're Vanderbilt, you bring in your nickel package, and you got to get pressure on Savell Newton.
Newton looking for Sidney Rice, catches it behind the line of scrimmage, now makes some moves and finds the marker and gets past it for the first down before Kevin Joyce trips him up, but that was all Sidney Rice.
I love this play. This is the wide receiver screen. That's all it is. They set it up with with the 2 receivers in front of them, and Rice drops back behind the line, makes the catch, and then just drives through the defenders and reaches for the sticks.
Tell you what, give Freddie Brown, the other receiver on that play, some credit. A key block to spring Rice loose. First down, 10 yards to go. Ball spotted on the 17. Newton again going to take it himself, looking for the block from Boyd. Gets it inside the 10 and down near another first down.
He got a couple good blocks by Boyd and Rice, both. Rice returns the favor, has a couple guys blocking for him. Now he returns the favor and blocks for his quarterback, Savell Newton. Nice look and a good job by Corey Boyd, too. Gets up in there and gets into his guy.
You know, for those that are new to seeing Steve Spurrier coaching this South Carolina team, these are the kind of plays you never saw with Spurrier at Florida or Duke, but he's had to adjust to the talent that he has, calling a lot of sprint outs and quarterback draws, and it's just been a whole new playbook, essentially.
Well, you take what you got and you use their strengths and you avoid their weaknesses, and that's what Coach Spurrier has done right here.
Mike Davis upended at the line of scrimmage. Davis started off really slow for Carolina, has come on of late. 3rd on the team in rushing with 165 yards. 3rd down and inches. Newton going to try to sneak it over himself. It's behind the left guard.
I think he's got it. If the guy at the bottom has a spot, I think he's got it.
Stafford and Boyd in the eye. 1st and goal, it's going to be Boyd. Boyd wrestled down inside the 5-yard line.
Good tackle by Kevin Joyce, I think.
Yep, Joyce and Horrocks. A 6'4", 290-pound junior out of Fayetteville, Tennessee, number 54.
And Gatewood looks like he was involved in it too. And really, like as we opened, I told you, I've been so impressed with the Vanderbilt defense. They've gone kind of unheralded. No big names over there making a whole bunch of plays, with the exception of probably Goff. But other than that, guys like Horrocks and DJ Moore and Buggs and Joyce have made a ton of big plays for them.
2nd and goal from the 4. Newton out of the gun, going to take it himself, right side. Newton stood up and brought down at about the 2.
And essentially what you're doing with Newton is you're using him at the tailback spot, just he's taking the shotgun snap. So it's essentially the same design plays, but you get an extra blocker by letting him run the ball from the quarterback spot.
All right, Coach, what do you have here?
I look to roll. I'd be surprised if he doesn't roll him out and give him a run-pass option.
It's 3rd and goal. The ball spotted at the 2.
Right, it's on the right hash. The only negative is when you roll left, you don't like to roll a right-handed quarterback to the left side.
Could be the play of the drive right here. Rice in motion. Newton throws it to him. Caught at the 5. Rice into the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina.
Well, you talked about Rice demanding, hoping that he gets the football a whole bunch. And when he's gotten it, he's been productive with it. Picking up the first downs and right there, converting for the touchdown. Just give it to him, let him make a play, and that's what he did. As they brought him in motion down the line of scrimmage, he drifts back, catches it, and then he says, okay, I'm not going to be denied. I'll stick it in there.
3rd down, 5 yards to go as Carolina comes out and a 3-wide look.
They're going to come right back to Rice, I think.
Gamecocks 4 of 6 on 3rd down so far today. Newton throws left side. Wide open is McKinley. McKinley looks for a block and is wrestled down at about the 23-yard line, but he was quarantined on the near sideline.
I'm kind of confused. I wonder if Vanderbilt understood what was going on. They had 2 receivers down here at the bottom of our screen and only 1 defensive back, so essentially you had a 2-on-1. That's why McKinley's so wide open. Rice goes vertical. The DB has to cover the vertical route. You got the second wide receiver standing wide open with a flat route.
McKinley caught that ball, and I think he was surprised when he looked forward to say, there's nobody here.
Right.
So a big gain on the play. It's 1st down and 10 from the Vanderbilt 23-yard line. Newton, 7-step drop, launching toward the end zone. McKinley, touchdown, Carolina.
I'll tell you, that was a good throw. Holy moly, he hit that right in the hole. There's a little hole between the linebacker who's in a walk-away and the safety who was lined up on the inside receiver. Watch McKinley, he outside releases, gets in the hole, and watch the vertical throw here by Newton. He just puts it right in the hole, over the outstretched arms of the inside guy and just under the outside guy.
23 yards on the hookup, and Suckup will make it an even 17 points for the Gamecocks. That's our score with 5:34 remaining in the first half of play. 2nd touchdown of the year for that man, Kenny McKinley, as we continue on CSS. Back to live action here on CSS as Suckup delivers this one into the end zone for another touchback. Gamecocks with a 17-3 lead here in the first half. Did the Razorbacks top the Rebels? Catch Arkansas and Ole Miss next on CSS and get 5 other college football replay games this week. Visit css-sports.com for a complete replay schedule. Alongside Pat Sperduto, Mike Morgan with you here on CSS, and Pat, Vanderbilt needs something positive to happen in a hurry.
Well, you see Chris Nixon still 0 for 5 so far today, and that's not a good start if you're a Vandy fan.
Nixon going to roll out right. Looking downfield, everybody's covered. Going to have to keep it himself. Does some nifty footwork, tight roping the sideline, and actually got 8 yards on the play.
That's a nice job right there. Good decision. Hey, there's no pain in throwing an incomplete pass. Don't throw an interception, and then if you can make something, that's just like a completion if you pick up 8 yards on the run.
So 2nd down, a short 2 for the Commodores.
And one thing the Commodores have done well is run the football.
Yeah, Jackson Garrison had a good first quarter working for him. He's behind Nixon here. Instead, they go play action again. Nixon, home run ball down the sideline and caught inside the 30, a first down. as Stoney Woodson got turned around, lost the ball and his man, and the biggest play of the day for Vandy.
And George Smith does a nice job of outside releasing, getting to the sideline and keeping position with the defensive back. Nixon on the play action sets his feet, go long, throw long. He gets it out there just far enough, and White just looks like nudges off a bit, makes a big catch.
44 yards on the hookup. Nixon gives it to Jackson Garrison, gets it up the middle for 4 or 5 tough yards.
And you talked about Jackson Garrison on his first 8 carries, had 31 yards and another 5 there. So it really been productive at that running back spot. So the balance is the key. You can't totally rely on the running game. You can't totally rely on the passing game. You got to have some semblance of balance. Good matchup here at the bottom of the screen right now.
2nd and 5. Again, the handoff up the middle. Give him 3 more. Marvin Sapp with the stop. It'll set up a 3rd and 2.
All right, another good run. Jackson Garrison finding the hole, making his break, pushing through. And he's really a good back. I mean, he's a tough, hard-nosed between the tackle runner, has a little bit of speed to come out the back door occasionally. Good running back for this offense.
Jackson Garrison had a touchdown in the final 5 games of last season.
He took over that Tennessee game, which was a big victory at the end of the season for Vanderbilt.
Vandy 1 of 4 today on 3rd down. Here's a 3rd and 1. Jackson Garrison goes the wrong way as terrific pressure by Lemuel Jean-Pierre, 6'4", 278-pound freshman out of Orlando, Florida.
I'm going to tell you right now, that's old school right there, where you line up one-on-one, the old board drill, and Jean-Pierre just stays lower than the offensive lineman, gets penetration, and holds on for dear life.
Jean-Pierre was actually recruited by Lou Holtz, and then when Spurrier took over, they stayed on him, got him to come to Carolina, and looks like he's got a real bright future. Field goal attempt for the Commodores. Officially, this will be a 38-yarder, but penalty flags on the play.
You're going to make it a 43 in a second.
Before the snap, ball starts. Offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
And it's into a little bit of a wind. I don't know how much how much more difficult it may be on a 43-yarder, but into a little wind, not a stiff wind like earlier.
Honfeld does have a long of 51 this year. Ball just to the left of center. Snap is good, hold is good, and the kick is good. No, he missed it right. Thought that was going to sneak inside the upright, but it does not. And the Commodores come away empty, and what a blow there. Vanderbilt's most productive drive in a while, and they come up with no points.
And you want to hear something sad, if that's 5 yards closer, that probably goes through.
If that's 2 yards closer, that baby might come through as we take another look.
Watch right here. He just misses it to the right. You'll see it.
Oof. Newton from the gun, a back each way. And it's going to be a draw play. Corey Boyd goes airborne at the 25 and surges forward to the 27.
You know, this guy keeps going unnoticed, but I love him. Leonard Stafford with another block, chops down the linebacker and gives Boyd a chance to make a cut off the draw play.
So 3rd down and 9 here.
As you can tell, Mike, I like all the grunts. The grunts are the guys that I focus on, like Chris White and Leonard Stafford and Theo Fort.
Hey, Spurrier loves them too. In fact, he's looking to get more of those guys in the program. Newton hit from behind. That's a fumble. Loose ball. Still on the ground. Bodies everywhere. And it might take a while to sort this one out.
The Vandy players think they got it. Let's see what the officials think.
Savell Newton did not sense the rush coming at all. And survey says Commodores.
And that's right on cue. I told you, Vandy's defense had to come up with a big play, and they do right there. A big play. They get the turnover with little time left in the second quarter.
Marcus Buggs somehow comes away with the football as we take another look.
I think it's Curtis Gatewood. Watch him come out of the right side of your screen right here. Gatewood, swat, rip, strip, just like they teach you, the defensive line coach teaches you, and Bugs comes away with a big recovery. Watch right here, Gatewood, nice little just a dip and a rip underneath. Pressure on the backside. Newton didn't feel it coming. There's no way he could have. And just watch the chop. Chop that arm.
Gatewood blew right by the true freshman left tackle Hutch Eckerson on the play. And then Hutch had a chance to recover it. See, that ball got caught between his legs. But eventually, that man would come away.
Let me tell you right now, there's a lot of poking and prodding at the bottom of those piles. Everybody's looking for a finger or something that they can pull out of there.
The play stand is called on the field. First down.
Now, they actually reviewed it. That's a pretty easy play to review there. Right. No question that was a fumble. Now, here's the catch. Vanderbilt has just 39 seconds to operate here. The Commodores do have 2 timeouts left.
That's plenty of time in this position at the 20.
Shotgun formation. 4 wide look for Nixon. Nixon looking long for Bennett, and almost intercepted by Fred Bennett. The Bennett-Bennett combo, which Earl certainly won that battle a year ago in Columbia, but that time Fred Bennett with good coverage.
Fred Bennett's a good football player. He's made a bunch of big plays from his corner spot. Again, good coverage. Earlier we talked about him on the vertical. This time we talk about it on, it's what we call a wheel route, as Earl Bennett works a flat, makes it look like a short route, and then turns vertical right up the sideline, and Fred Bennett doesn't bite.
Fred Bennett nearly had his 10th career interception, the school record, 14 by Bo Davies. Second down, 10 yards to go, 25 seconds remaining in the first half. Nixon on the quick slant, it's dropped, but a penalty flag.
That's going to be pass interference on captain again.
Marlon White, the intended target, and Munnerlyn.
He's had 2 on him now.
Holding. Defense, number 1. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
This time it's holding. Last time I said it was holding, they call it pass interference. This time I call it pass interference, they call it holding.
Either way, Vanderbilt will take it.
Right, and it's going to move them down to the 10-yard line with 20
seconds even.
20 seconds to go. You can get 3 or 4 good plays in here before you got to kick your field goal.
And again, Vandy still has 2 timeouts to work with, so plenty of time to get in the end zone if they execute here. Going to be an inside screen to Bennett, and it is blown up. No, he only shakes a couple of tackles, and Jasper Brinkley might have saved the day there.
Right, and you know what? It's kind of odd. I might have gone for a running play right there. You know, in reality, if you got 20 seconds, you can run the ball, maybe a draw or something like that, but they decided to throw the screen, the wide receiver screen, which is another good play, but I might have tried to run it one time.
Well, Vandy needs some production here. Second down and 13. Nixon from the gun. 3 wide look. Gamecocks rush 4. Going to the end zone and overshot him.
How about who's on the coverage again?
Fred Bennett.
Mr. Bennett.
Marlon White, the intended receiver, but Fred Bennett, the senior out of Manning, South Carolina, preseason All-SEC, and he has not let anybody down with the expectations this year.
No, he's a good cover, man. He's one of those lockdown type of guys. You know, there's been a bunch of good cornerbacks come out of South Carolina.
This time, Earl Bennett is going to be working top of your screen. Fred Bennett, that is, covering the slot. Third down. All kinds of time for Nixon. Now Nixon's got a lane. Nixon cuts back at the 5. Nixon to the end zone and a touchdown for Vanderbilt.
That's a good response by Chris Nixon. Exactly what he needed to do was put a 7 on the board before they go into halftime, and he does it with 0-0-0 on the clock. How about them apples?
The final play of the half, 13-yard scamper by Nixon.
I'll tell you, gutsy decision right here. He knows if he gets 1 block from his tailback, Jackson Garrison, which he does not get, he cuts back door. You see the whole, every Gamecock followed him the whole way down.
The extra point up and in. And the Commodores will take some momentum back in this ball game as both teams go to the locker room with the Gamecocks leading it by 7. 17-10. That's our score. Halftime coming your way here on CSS. Newton has an I formation behind him. Newton, all kinds of time, fires, complete to Sidney Rice.
Good route by Sidney Rice right there. He runs a stick and works his way back to the sideline. And a good throw by Newton, delivering it, not be, again, one thing that you can say about Newton, he is not afraid to stick it in holes, and that's what he's doing right there. Again, you know, there's always a fear that corner falls off and gets involved in the play. He sticks it in there, no fear.
15 yards on that connection. 4 catches now for Sidney Rice. Rice in the game, working the slot, bottom of your screen. Now McKinley in motion. Newton, hand off to Boyd. Beautiful spin move, and is brought down at about the 41-yard line. That might not look like much in terms of yardage, but it could have been a lot worse.
Right, and one of the things, you know, a lot of people don't understand this. When you see play like that where the receiver comes into the backfield and they fake it, you know what the key word for that is? Ghost. Why do they call it ghost? Because it's forcing the defense to see things that really aren't there. So you set plays up off of that fake reverse, and it freezes up some of the linebackers that you hope that Boyd can break it off the front side.
Yet another tackle on the play for Vanderbilt's Jonathan Galt, the middle linebacker. Second down, 8 yards to go. Newton hit as he throws, and it's intercepted. Intercepted at the 45 of Vanderbilt. And on the reception, or interception rather, is Curtis Gatewood.
You don't think he's had 2 big consecutive series, forcing the fumble just before the half that allows Vanderbilt to get back in the game. This time he drops off in a zone blitz. He's the defensive end back in coverage. He's quick, he's agile, he's a big physical guy. And a great story about Gatewood, an outstanding basketball player, could never gain weight. 215 pounds, 6'3", 6'4", 215, couldn't gain weight. He broke his foot in the offseason. Thus, he couldn't play off-season basketball, which he enjoys so much, and it forced him to gain weight.
We showed the hands of a basketball player there. That was not an easy pass to pick off. He had to leave his feet. Pretty strong throw by Newton. Now looking for the killer here. Vanderbilt complete past the 30. And that is the tight end out of Venice, Florida, Brad Allen on the reception.
Right, and Brad Allen hasn't gotten a ton of reps this year. This time, Allen goes down the seam. Look at the time. Look at the protection. This is a makeshift offensive line for Vanderbilt, and they've done a good job of keeping this Gamecock defense at bay. Nixon settles in, comes out throwing, completes his first pass as opposed to the first half.
27 yards on the hookup there. And now here's Kaysen, Jackson, Garrison up the middle. Tough couple of yards there. It'll be second down and long.
Big tack by Rodney Polk. Polk just a, tough, physical, only a freshman, physical kid. Gamecocks coaches like him a whole bunch. They have enough confidence to stick him in there and allow him to get some playing time.
One of the many underclassmen.
They got a bunch of young freshmen
Absolutely.
on this defense like Norwood and Polk that are playmakers. They're guys, and Captain Munnerlin, another guy.
Jean-Pierre made a big hit earlier in the game.
This is going to be a good class for them as the years progress.
Emmanuel Cook in the secondary, another one of those freshmen. Second down, call it 7 for the Commodores. Nixon on the option play to the left, fakes the pitch, will take it himself, and is smothered just shy of the 20-yard line.
What a good job by the perimeter defense of South Carolina as they string him along. One of the things you want to do is you want to force him to either make a quick decision or force him to make no decision, and that's what they do right here. No decision, and he has to keep it and turn it up, and there's just too many bodies in there.
There are about 4 black jerseys on that tackle, but one of them, once again, was 52, Jasper Brinkley. Vanderbilt 1 of 5 on third down in the first half. A third down and 3 here.
They come in with 2 tights. Well, three tights, actually.
And
2 tights.
Vanderbilt forced to burn a timeout. Third down and short. It's Jackson Garrison.
He's short.
Probing the left side and appears to be about a foot or two short of the marker.
Right, he's going to bring up about a 4th and 1, maybe half a yard even. And now it's decision time for Coach Johnson, and they're going to go for it too.
Some substitutions, including Sean Walker coming into the game for Vanderbilt.
And big tight end Jake Bradford too.
4th down and about 18 inches. That's an interesting look here. A 4-wide set, and Nixon out of the shotgun. And he's going to run it himself, right side. He's got it. And he's got some more. Finally brought down at the 15-yard line by Emmanuel Cook.
For a second there, I thought he was going to pull up and throw. And you know, 4th and inches, to see that type of formation, you're right. You're right on point, talking a little bit about how they came out with 4 wides. And you see the big tight end lined up in the backfield, and they just stuck it up in there and got the first down.
So Vanderbilt now, momentum on their side, taking advantage of 2 critical Carolina turnovers, a fumble by Savell Newton, and then an interception by Savell Newton. 1st and 10. Nixon rolling out right. Nixon going to take it himself. 15, weaves his way to the 10, and is brought down there, a gain of 5.
And really, you know, we talked about the maligned Chris Nixon in the first half. At one point was 0 for everything, and what an interception, and it's kind of settled down a little bit, especially at the end. Gets a big play running the football into the end zone, comes out the second half, makes a good decision on a throw and a good decision on a no throw, and has tucked it a few times and made some plays.
3 wides on this set for the Commodores. Jackson Garrison, the lone back. He'll get the carry. And not much doing there, as guess who? Jasper Brinkley will wrestle him backwards.
Him, and it looks like Eric Norwood again is Johnny on the spot in the backfield. You take a look as he jumps back there and gets into the backfield, gets the first shot, and Brinkley cleans it up. I really like Brinkley. He's a big-time football player. And Casper Brinkley, let me tell you, South Carolina did the right thing offering both and getting both.
It's too bad they weren't triplets. Maybe they could have another starter on the defense.
Quadruplets, you can line up all 4 defensive linemen and go get them.
3rd down and 5 yards to go here. The marker is at the 5. Nixon, quick drop, fires, and it's tipped by Jasper Brinkley.
He's made a ton of plays. He's one of those guys that he is consistent. One big play after another. Watch right here as he just gets a piece of that ball. Otherwise, that's a catch and a run for Earl Bennett. Right there. Gets his hand up just enough. It's actually intended for Marlon White.
Another high snap. The kick is just inside that left upright.
Yeah, he wrapped that one around, huh?
A little bit closer than Bobby Johnson would like, but it is 3 points as the Commodores taking advantage of another Gamecock turnover. It's now 17-13 with 8 minutes and 33 seconds left.
And he wraps it right around that left goal post coming from that side.
I think the game plan, because of Vanderbilt having such youth in the secondary, we talked about 2 starting cornerbacks. Steve Spurrier thought they'd be able to air it out a little bit here today, but it's been the 2 turnovers on passing plays that have kind of opened the door for the Commodores.
Right, and
Captain Munnerlyn stopped dead in his tracks at the 24.
He got demoted. But one of the things that you look at, I told you this Vanderbilt defense was unheralded before they, as the game started. I said they've kept them in so many games, and really I think they may have more athletes here this year at Vanderbilt on the defensive side of the football than they've had ever here. And they've had some great players. You see Newton right there, 8 for 14. The numbers aren't horrible. The 2 touchdowns are on passes, really. One behind the line of scrimmage and one on a nice seam route like I talked about.
And, of course, it's kind of been a mixed bag because the 2 turnovers, the interception and the fumble, have been committed by Newton. Looks like a little trickery here. Boyd to McKinley. McKinley nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. 5 gold jerseys surround him. It'll be a loss on the play.
I'll tell you one thing he did pretty good was Kenny McKinley got back to close to the line of scrimmage. It could have been a real catastrophe if they got him way in the back. But take a look at the discipline of the Vanderbilt defensive end right there. Number 90, he sees it coming, sees it developing, gets involved in it, makes a big play, and that is Roderick Stewart. Really nice job. Just a redshirt freshman. Tall, lanky kid. They bring him in a lot of passing situations as a pass rusher.
A couple weeks ago, Steve Spurrier used a play like that where McKinley threw a pass as Newton fires a pass here, and Sidney Rice,
what a catch,
uses that 6'4" frame and that vertical leap of nearly 40 inches to haul that one in. 22 yards on that hookup.
What a grab. Watch the throw here by Savell Newton. Nice route. We saw it a couple times earlier. It's just a deep out route, a little bit deeper than your normal 12-yard out. Takes it up about 20, breaks to the sideline. Look at him get up there and have the presence to come down with his feet and bounds.
Now that's where Sidney Rice is at his best. You know, he's not a speedster by any means. He's not a track guy. A lot of SEC fans will remember Troy Williamson playing for South Carolina a few years ago. He was a speedster. Rice is more of a playmaker with his height and leaping ability as Boyd some more tough yards up the middle before Jonathan Goff brings him down.
And one of the things I like that Coach Spurrier has done, he's loosened up the secondary by throwing the ball down the field a couple times. Getting that ball to Rice forces the secondary to be a little more alert of the vertical game, creeps those safeties out, has the linebackers starting to think about coverage, and then you hit them with Corey Bird. Nice balance on this drive by the Gamecocks.
Boyd this time going to line up bottom of your screen.
Does my guy get a carry right here?
Leonard Stafford, it would be his first of his career. He does not have a carry yet. Newton going for the home run, ball to Rice, and he makes the diving catch inside the 10.
You know what time it is? It's Sidney Rice time because he's taking over this football game. Watch this route. Watch the great throw by Newton. You can tell these guys have practiced together a whole bunch. See the little shoulder fake right there by Newton is just enough to hold the corner, and then Rice slips behind the cover man and just lays out for the football. Good concentration by Sidney Rice. Big play and knock, knock, knock. South Carolina at the door.
Longest play of the game for the Gamecocks, 43 yards. 3 wides for Newton on this play, working out of the gun. Mike Davis to his right. Newton's going to keep it. Newton gets a block from Davis. Newton is tackled into the end zone. It's a touchdown.
Missed tackle by the Vanderbilt Commodores defense. Somebody had him lined up, had it right at about the 4-yard line and missed the tackle, but that happens a lot when you have a guy like Savell Newton, a running back slash receiver playing quarterback. Watch him just tuck it and go, get the snap. He's a running back right there, no doubt. Somebody has a shot at him and don't get him. Into the end zone he goes. Marcus Buggs, too late.
Second straight year that Newton has thrown for a score and run for a score against Vanderbilt.
I like this kid, Savell Newton. I think he's a good football player. I told you from the outset.
Suck up extra point, blocked, but still good. Don't see that very often. So that makes it 24-13 now. The Gamecocks back up by 11 points, 6:02 remaining in the third quarter of play. The drive, 5 plays, 75 yards, 2 minutes and 19 seconds off the clock.
Savell Newton's telling his guys, man, I got hit pretty good.
Mike Morgan alongside Pat Sperduto here at Commodore Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. Gamecocks with a 24-13 lead as we enter the fourth quarter. The Gamecocks still on the drive, a key first down thanks to the legs of Savell Newton.
And he made a big play right there. That was one of those that, like I said, everybody's expecting to throw it 3rd and 13. And you know what? It's probably, obviously, it turned out to be a great choice, but it was a great choice either way, even if you didn't get it, because I'm a firm believer there's 3 things that can happen when you throw the football and you're in a position where you want to protect it. You can either throw an interception, you can throw an incomplete pass, or you can throw a completion. So 2 out of the 3 are bad. So keep it, run, see what you can get. Got the first down, and lo and behold, they're knocking again.
Ball at the 15-yard line. Vanderbilt would love to hold them to a field goal here and keep this a 2-possession game. If Carolina can get it in the end zone, then the Commodores would be 3 scores behind, and that might seem insurmountable right now the way this Gamecock defense has played thus far.
Here comes the check. He's checking to the other play. Let's see what it is.
Newton going to give it to Davis. Davis, a lot of room on the left side. Davis to the 10, to the 5, dives for the end zone. He's waiting for a call. They're going to say just short. Going to say that left foot hit out of bounds at about the 1.
What a nice run, though, by Davis. Watch the straight arm. Davis got some size to him. Watch as he powers his way, works his way back down the sideline. See the straight arm right there on DJ Moore? And then he may have stepped out of bounds, if that's what they're trying to say.
Well, they might review this one, too.
I think they'd need another angle in order to get definitive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Richard Langford is the Commodore that pushed him out of bounds.
They're going to need, I think they're going to need an end zone shot. Let's see right here.
I didn't see a foot touch out of bounds
No,
at all.
I think he's in. I'm going to agree with you. Let's see right here. This will be a good shot by our camera crew.
He's good there. Still good. Still good. That's a touchdown,
no doubt.
folks.
That's a touchdown. They're going to overturn this. See, I think the hardest thing was the official had to work his way back up the sideline, so he couldn't get a clear shot, and that's probably why he looked in the back of the end zone. The other official's getting out of the way on the other side, so he came up and said, okay, I guess he's out of bounds.
Well, Mike Davis only has 1 touchdown on the year. He doesn't want to be victimized of a second.
Mike Davis, 5'9", 207.
Video evidence shows the runner never went out of bounds. Was in the end zone. It is a touchdown.
There they go. They got it right. That's why instant replay is there. I wish it would work more often. Seems like.
Well, let me say this right now. I've watched a ton of games, obviously, on TV, and every time I watch a game, the replay officials and the officials take 15 minutes. So either our crew is the greatest replay crew ever, and we got the most outstanding replay official in the history of college football because they're making decisions instantly.
Right. Here's the extra point. Up and good by Ryan Suckup. And Carolina starting to pour it on now. 31-13 our score. Mike Davis, his 2nd touchdown of the year. 65 yards, just under 4 minutes off the clock, and Mike Davis from 15 yards out gets into the end zone.
Right, South Carolina starting to pull away a little bit. If you look at it, you know, if you're Vanderbilt, hey, it's not insurmountable. I've seen crazier things, but if you don't, if you don't put one on the board this drive, it's over with. You can pack the women and children.
Well, these two teams have been playing one another on an annual basis since 1992. And Carolina leads the series with Vandy 13-2. The 2 losses came in 1998 and 1999. And to say that was the low point of the program, that's when Carolina rattled off 21 consecutive losses. Needless to say, this program has come a long way since that point in time. And of course, Steve Spurrier has yet to lose a game, be it at Duke, Florida, or Carolina, against the Commodores. Vanderbilt with a decent return past the 20, out to about the 23, maybe 24-yard line.
Coach Spurrier, 13-0 against the Commodores in his career.
Not too shabby. He hasn't lost to Vanderbilt, hasn't lost to Kentucky. All he's done in a year and a half at Carolina is produce the school's first ever win in Knoxville, and the first win over the Florida Gators in a long time. As you see, the total yards now tilting further in the favor of South Carolina. Nixon on another rollout to his right. Looks back the opposite way. Ball's up for grabs and picked off by Captain Munnerlyn.
The captain, my captain with a big pick.
The freshman out of Mobile, Alabama, picks off the pass.
Well, we talked about him quite a bit. They go on the naked. You see naked bootleg to the right side. It's a throwback right here. Munnerlyn does not fall off. As they try to slip out Case and Jackson Garrison up the sideline, Munnerlyn sees it, says, I'm going to go get that. And now you know why I told you earlier they're so high on this kid over at Gamecock land, because he's a stud. I mean, he's a great athlete. You saw him go up and make that play. He's returned a few kicks. The captain, aye. He should be riding the Commodore boat.
Well, I'm sure that's what they used when they recruited him, the whole boat angle, but apparently it did not work. Points off turnovers, Vanderbilt 10, Carolina 7, with some more points hanging in the balance here, depending on what the Gamecocks can do on the drive. It's a second pick thrown by Nixon, who was so sharp against Georgia, although he did have the one interception returned for a touchdown in that game.
All right, this is not his night. New quarterback in the...
Corey Boyd dancing his way to the first down marker and then some, but a penalty flag on the field.
Should be holding.
Holding. Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
They came back. They took Davis back out, and they put Boyd back in, and he's I tell you, he's had a pretty good night. If you look at his numbers, 16 carries, 71 yards, and he's hit it. And in their offensive attack, running the ball has been very, kind of spread out. Not one guy with 30 carries like some schools. They got nice balance between, Savell Newton, Corey Boyd. Mike Davis got his 3 carries, and I'm still waiting for my big man to get one.
You might be waiting a long time for
Come
that
on,
play.
give the defensive tackle the ball. Give him one.
Stafford the up back in the eye here as McKinley goes across the formation. Newton gives it off to Boyd, tries that spin move again, but nothing doing there.
Nice job by Horrocks. And let's see who else is in there. Marcus Buggs and big number 94, it looks like. That's Ray Brown.
We talked in the outset about the importance of this game for both teams. Carolina still has a shot at the Eastern Division title, and they're going to have to beat the teams ahead of them. And the good thing is for the Gamecocks, they get a chance to play them. They get a chance to beat Tennessee and beat Florida for the second year in a row. They got a tough game at home against Arkansas, and then of course they'll finish things off at Clemson in an out-of-conference game. As Newton, another handoff here. Boyd is absolutely leveled. Fumble on the play, picked up by Vandy.
Oh my God!
And down at the 50-yard line is DJ Moore, but Corey Boyd just suffered the hit of the game.
Watch Theo Horrocks. I'll tell you, I've been talking about him all night. He's the big defensive tackle, number 54. Sheds a block. Watch him come back. Bang! Decleats him, then gets up, and watch him again. After he decleats this guy, he knocks out another guy. Right there. Strips him of the ball on the ground. They get the recovery, and then you're going to see him come up and clean somebody else's clock right there. You see Horrocks, he's just cleaning everybody's clock. What the hey?
Now that last angle, it looked like he jumped off the top rope at a wrestling match to hit Boyd. My goodness. Now Vanderbilt trying to capitalize, going for the deep ball, but it's incomplete, intended for George Smith.
How about you? I'll tell you 2 things. If you're a Vandy fan, you got to be a little bit disappointed. As well as they played last week, you got Chris Nixon, who has struggled horribly, and then you turn around to Earl Bennett. Watch Horrocks. After he knocks one guy down, he gets up, they recover the ball. Just like you said, he gets another top rope elbow smash coming up right there. I mean, he's just hitting everybody. He is going to take out his frustrations right now.
Vanderbilt needs some of that intensity on offense right now, as the quarterback keeper by Nixon is good for about 5 yards.
And it's really, like I said, if you're a Vandy fan, you got to be disappointed. He's struggled 4 for 15 with 2 interceptions. I mean, that is painful right now. And then on top of that, Earl Bennett. Who would have ever thought Earl Bennett, after last year, would come into a game and have 1 catch for 2 yards?
Here's a 3rd down and 7. The Commodores 0 of 3 on 3rd down in this half. Vandy might be looking at 4-down territory at this point. Nixon going to keep it himself. Nixon is brought down at the 45. That's going to be well short of a first down. but I would think Bobby Johnson would go for it here.
4th and 5. You probably have no alternative. 11-17 left. I mean, I can't see why you would kick it.
Eric Norwood in on another tackle for Carolina. The true freshman continues to impress.
I'll tell you, that's one thing. This Carolina football team has a bunch of good young football players. Expect big things from this team down the road.
From the gun, it's Nixon. Nixon dancing out of some problems, now going to take it himself, and he's got the first down. Ball comes
No, they're going to call him down.
loose late after he was down.
But one of the things you think about, seriously, think about today. When has Chris Nixon made big plays? Only with his legs.
Yeah.
From the last touchdown that he got just before the half. I mean, he really hasn't done anything via the air. Watch right here. He has nothing. I mean, there's nobody that he feels comfortable delivering the ball to, so he tucks it and runs. And that's really the only place that he's made any sort of big play is on the ground. And
I don't think you can say enough about the Carolina secondary to hold Earl Bennett to 1 catch for -2 yards.
Right, this is Hawkins again giving Jackson Garrison a spell, but you're right. You got to give a lot of credit. It all starts with Fred Bennett. I mean, he's a good cover guy, and like you said, he's got a bunch of interceptions throughout his career, but he has been the guy that's hunkered everything down. Anything that's gone vertical usually has gone to him, and he's shut it out. Chris Hampton's done a great job from his rover position. Stoney Woodson, and then Carlos Thomas and Captain Munnerlin, who's come in on nickel, done a good job.
Jackson Garrison guts it up the middle for a modest gain, shy of the first down. Chris Hampton in on another stop.
But yeah, that group back there, really impressive. Carlos Thomas got one of the picks back there, and he's just a sophomore, and Woodson's a sophomore, and Hampton's a junior. Bennett's the senior, but you have Captain Munnerlin, who's going to line up at cornerback next year and dominate.
Now to the right side of Jackson Garrison, and he is strung out by Emmanuel Cook, a true freshman out of Riviera Beach, Florida.
Another guy in that secondary, another freshman, spelling in the rover position, taking on for Chris Hampton.
Not a bad tackle there.
No, that's a good tackle. Wrap up, hold on.
Cook was a running back, a star running back in high school, led his team to the state title, recruited as a defensive back at Carolina.
4th and 1. Playing that rover position.
Quarterback keeper, I don't know.
This is going to be close. Depends who's got the spot, to be honest.
Exact. Right foot, left foot. Did not get much of a push on that offensive line.
They gave it to the linesman. The linesman's coming from the bottom of the field, and he's got it. If they gave it to the field judge, he would not have had that.
Yeah, very good spot. They might not even measure this. And they'll take the chain gang out anyway. Why not? Give him a little cardio today.
Right. The side judge didn't give it to him. The head linesman gave it to him. Let's see. And I'm right. The head linesman gave it to him. Nope, I'm wrong.
Oh, boy.
How about that?
Savell Newton still in the game for Carolina. Davis off left tackle.
Boy, he's got some stumps on those legs now.
13 yards and another first down.
He's got two. Look at his trunk. He's got two big, thick tree trunk legs hanging out of that torso. I mean, golly. That's, like I said, 5'9", 210, 207. He's a load.
Low center of gravity, tough runner. He's the guy that had the big 100-yard rushing games last year for Carolina. The Gamecocks only had 2 of them. Mike Davis had them against Missouri in the bowl game and Clemson. But this year it's been more of the Corey Boyd show, so Davis trying to earn a little more PT and carries here.
Well, they need to give Leonard Stafford a carry.
He's going to block again. Makes a good block for Davis as penalty flags drop to the ground, and have a feeling this one's going back.
Yep, probably a hold.
Ray Brown trips Davis up. Our referee today, Jeff Roberson. Officiating crew has done a fine job. The one mistake was overturned by instant replay.
Offside. Defense, number 24. Penalty is declined. Second down.
That's Marcus Buggs, who's had a busy afternoon for Vanderbilt.
Leonard, Stafford, give him a carry, coach. Come on, I know you want to take care of him. Golly, you got to give him more. Just give him a bone.
You know, talking about throwing a bone, I promise you a lot of Gamecock fans watching this broadcast back in the Palmetto State wondering if Blake Mitchell, who was the starting quarterback, lost the job, really has not been seen much since, if he might get a crack in this game.
Well, up 31-13, you'd think coach would march him on out there, give him a few reps, because you never know. You're one snap away from him playing again.
Right. Newton hands it off. Looks like Davis again stacked up for very little gain, and that'll set up a second down.
See, here's what I'm hoping right now. You got in the booth, the coaches are in one of these booths, and they usually have the camera, you know, like the TV up there, so they're watching the game. I hope they turn on the volume so they can hear me lobbying for Leonard Stafford to get a carry.
You think that'll work, huh?
No, I figured I'd try it anyway.
You think they'll say, you know, Pat Sperduto.
Yeah, that guy, that's right.
Give it to Stafford.
And Coach Spurrier will say, "What'd you say?"
Pat who? Sperduto.
So what?
Second down and 3 yards to go for Carolina. Vanderbilt with a 5-man front here. Davis again. Davis behind left guard.
He's going to come up just short of a first down, and this is one that you get this first down here on third and a foot. You know you're going to burn off another 2 minutes on the clock, so you're going to be inside of 3 minutes if you can get it. You know, that's the key right now, and Coach Spurrier knows it, so he's bantering it around a little bit. Here comes the signal.
Well, Vanderbilt with a loss in this game would fall to 1-4 in the SEC and would still need some help. Well, not really help. They would control their own destiny, try to get to that 6-win mark, make it to their first bowl game since 1982.
Yeah, but for them, you know, after last week's performance, they expected to do better than that.
Sure.
They want, you know, they don't want to just play for, you know, no offense to the Humanitarian Bowl or the Blue Bonnet Bowl. They want to, you know, they want to get a shot at maybe a Peach Bowl or something like that.
Another first down for Carolina on the 3rd and short, as Vanderbilt's defense has been on the field for the majority.
Way too much.
Yeah, this second half. Meanwhile,
you know, and if you're South Carolina, think about it. You move to 5-2 with this victory right here, and like you said, you control your own destiny.
Yep.
If you take one game at a time, you still have a legitimate shot to get to the SEC championship.
Absolutely. Carolina would be 3-2 in the Southeastern Conference. A brutal stretch of games coming up for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, but to use a coaching cliche, you take one at a time, and it's truly, you know, people say, oh, all these coach speak stuff. That's really what it is. You take one at a time.
Corey Boyd shedding off one tackler at a time before being lassoed out of bounds at about the 23. Ryan Hamilton there to meet him. Got a big gain for Corey Boyd off left tackle, and I think that penalty flag is going to be on the hit.
It's probably going to be a face mask. Watch right here. Boyd just goes off the left side. Gets
incidental face mask.
Good block by my guy, Stafford Davis. Big fullback block off the edge. Incidental face mask. 5 more yards. The only bad thing if you coach Spurrier is that he went out of bounds. That's the only thing. You know, you want to be smart and have your guys utilize every second. Hey, the game's not over till there's zeros on the clock, and that's one way to assure yourself an opportunity to get those zeros is by being smart, stay in bounds. And that's, I guarantee, the first thing you're going to tell them.
Give him 18 yards on the carry, 5 more on the penalty, 23 yards on the play, and a first down and 10. Mo Brown at the bottom of your screen in for Carolina. Sidney Rice resting on the sideline. Corey Boyd between the tackles, a lot of room. Turns on the Jets at the 10 and will cruise into the end zone. 3 flags, though. A triangulation of crossfire of penalty flags fall to the ground.
What was that, a triangulation?
Holding.
That's
Offense
right.
number 9. 10-yard penalty from the spot
This
of the
must have
foul.
been the most obvious hold ever in the history of
Apparently.
football. The only thing that could have been worse is if the back judge was watching it too and threw a flag in there. The triangulation of flags.
Boy,
Mo Brown has a brother Larry and Curly, one named Shemp.
Corey Boyd now 102 yards on the ground. This is his second straight 100-yard game.
And not even 20 carries. And if he had that carry too, who knows what it would have been.
So the penalty backs him up. First down from the 13-yard line. The scratch that, make that the 18-yard line. The marker is at the 11. Boyd tries to get some tough yards up the middle, but stopped at the line. Kevin Joyce.
And he's slow. He looks like he's slow to get up. You know, Vanderbilt came in here a little bit banged up front on their offensive line, but, you know, I thought their offensive line actually played pretty well considering they were kind of mismatched, and meaning hodgepodge, and got a guy, a left tackle, moving him to left guard, moving this guy. And I thought they did a pretty good job of effectively band-aiding the offensive line. But really, you know, I say it again, Chris Nixon just had himself a very difficult afternoon. 4 for 15, 2 interceptions. Not a good day for Chris Nixon.
Sidney Rice is back in. He's at the top. He'll get it. Wide receiver screen, but it's blown up this time at the 15-yard line. Ball was whistled dead.
Yeah, he's down.
Viewing the last play to see whether or not it was a fumble, the officials really made no definitive call of any kind. Just it made it seem like it was a no-brainer that it wasn't a fumble.
Right, here's the dilemma. This is kind of more of an interpretation than you can actually rule review. If you look here, unless the ball's out right now, which it's not. I mean, when are you considering his? Yeah, but when are you considering his forward progress stop?
Well, that's where the whistle comes in. That's one thing we can't hear is when the whistle was blown. Now the ball comes out before he's on the ground. You'll see.
Yeah, the ball does come out before he's on the ground, but when is the whistle blown? And that's something that you're going to need sound for.
I mean, I thought forward progress was halted there, and like you could see everybody just kind of stopped on the play.
Here's the other thing. Can you overturn a fumble like that? Because who's to say who would have recovered, whether you would have taken... I know in the NFL, I don't think you can review that play.
Well, in the NFL, the whistle is the whistle.
That's it.
You can't overturn the whistle.
Right.
And one of the points of emphasis they've been trying to teach officials, don't blow the whistle unless you're 100% sure that the play is dead.
We're going to find out right now what he says.
After further review, video evidence shows the ball was fumbled and recovered by Vanderbilt. It's Vanderbilt's ball, first down.
Wow. Well, you know,
right, that's what Coach
Bobby Johnson's saying.
Then why'd you blow the whistle?
Why'd you blow it? If it is a fumble, then you just cost me 6 points. I don't think anybody was real enamored with the handling of that play.
No, that's been our first glitch for our officiating staff. Is, you know, it's a tough decision right here. It goes back to what I believe is once forward progress is stopped, one of the officials feels like forward progress had been stopped. He blows the whistle, all over with. You can't, now all of a sudden you can't say, okay, pick up the play again.
Meanwhile, the backup quarterback for Vanderbilt is in the game. First pass is a completion. This is Richard Kovalachek, a 6'2", 212-pound junior out of San Diego, California. This is the transfer that we heard so much about. Thanks to the new rule, he transferred from Arizona, and he did not sit out a year because he already finished his bachelor's degree.
Well, what happened actually is they have a major here that's not offered at Arizona.
Right.
So that's how it kind of works, that you do not have to sit out a complete year in order to qualify.
Right. There's a very controversial rule that some people were upset about, but nevertheless, it paved the way for players like this young man to transfer without having to sit out. A couple other guys across the country have done the same thing.
And you take a peek right here, he's come out swinging. He's not wasting any time, huh? He's gonna get in his 3 minutes. He's gonna get as many throws in as he can, kind of like pat and go. He just wants to get going as fast as he can. As soon as he takes a hit, all that'll change quickly.
He's got over 3 minutes to operate a drive here. Salvage this fourth quarter a bit, which has been dominated by the Gamecocks. There's an interesting little shovel pass there, yeah. Jasper Brinkley, he had another tackle. I don't know how many he's up to, but it's got to be double digits.
360 so far. Jasper Brinkley is a good football player. I'm going to tell you right now, he's a playmaker. And so isn't this Norwood, this freshman. I'll tell you, he's another guy I like a whole bunch.
Pass complete.
How about 4 for 4?
In the flat to Marlon White. Well, this is one of those, and
Yeah,
you know this as a coach.
Absolutely.
It's a little bit easier when everybody's playing back off.
There's no question. All you're telling your guys right now, we're up 31-13, fellas. Any of you guys gets beat, you don't get on the bus. You're walking back to the airport. Don't let anybody get behind you. I don't care what you do. Don't let anybody get behind you.
And if you've been following South Carolina lately, the Gamecocks had a prevent situation a couple weeks ago against Kentucky, and Kentucky nearly tied the game with a couple of deep pass plays, and that was the subject of a lot of conversation. They were unable to get in the proper defense.
I'm going to tell you right now, we used to call the prevent coverages purple. Purple P for prevent. Well, after we had run it a few times, I said, we need to change it to pink because that's how soft and fluffy we are. We're letting people kill us. So let's not call pink anymore. Let's make up a new coverage.
Everybody, you know, hates the prevent when it doesn't work, but obviously it's there for a reason.
Well, it is there for a reason. It's more so to kill clock. But even then, you want to keep them in bounds. I mean, all you let them do is go up and down the field, especially if it's a close game. 31-13, I don't think they're worrying as much about prevent. You can play your purple coverage if you want.
Meanwhile, on 4th and 1, that is just the second catch for Earl Bennett. The 120th of his career, but just the second of the day for Bennett.
For about 10 yards on the day. And that's you know, you have to give the secondary for South Carolina a ton of credit. They've locked up Earl Bennett and shut him down.
So first down and 10 as the clock continues to tick down, nearing the 2-minute mark. Pass over the middle, batted down by Jasper Brinkley. What else can he do in this game?
How about my guy Norwood again coming through with another shot on the quarterback? Right here, watch Norwood coming on the stunt. It's a little TE stunt, which means the tackle goes outside and occupies the offensive tackle on the guard, and the defensive end loops around behind him and hits that hole and gets a clean kill shot on the quarterback.
Second down and 10. 5 wide look here for Vandy. From the gun, another one of those wide receiver screens. It's Bennett, but that's not going to get it done.
Just a slip screen as they try to bring Bennett behind the other two.
No yards on the play.
And a little bit of frustration setting in. Case and Jackson Garrison mixing it up a little bit. Some pushing and shoving, and 1:46 to go.
Here's third down. Deep ball. Thomas on the coverage. Tipped up, and did he catch it? Wow. Earl Bennett with a nice play there. Somehow got his hands underneath the ground.
Great concentration. Watch this. Kovalchuk puts it up just high enough. Earl Bennett you can tell he just tips it up. He reaches in between the hands of the DB. Nope. The DB actually bats it away, and Earl Bennett just stays focused and makes the catch.
And they're going to review it. 32 yards on the reception. That play is going to be reviewed, but that's going to hold up in court.
All right, I'm going to talk about the DB for a second. If you go back and you see the DB, he bats it up in the air. Why bat it up in the sun?
Yeah.
Catch it. We like when you catch the football.
I mean, if you're going to bat it in one direction or another, bat it down.
How about catch it? He had both hands on the football. Catch it. That's why he's playing DB, I guess.
Well, this play will almost uncertainly hold up for a first down at the 18-yard line. 1:34. Vanderbilt at this point just trying to have something to feel good about before the time runs out in this game.
You know, it's got to be a little demoralizing if you're Vanderbilt. You're sitting here. You played such a good game last week, and you know, a lot of things factor in. Now people are going to say, well, they may not have been that good and all this and that, but, you know, Georgia's been a contender every single year.
Yep. I think they ran into a Carolina team, too. It's starting to play better football as the year moves along.
I agree.
And that's what happened last year for that man's club. They started off slow, and by the end of the year, had a 5-game winning streak.
I'll say he can do more things with a visor than anybody I've ever seen. See how he's got it tilted to the side. He knows the sun's coming in from the closed out end. See? I mean, guy's amazing. He's set a trend. He's a trendsetter.
That's a new angle. I don't think I've seen him use that angle yet this season.
You don't think they have to beep out a few words coming out of that right now, do you?
Yeah, we're not gonna pipe into that sound. I don't know what the delay is on this replay. I mean,
I think that's what he's saying too.
I'm sure Spurrier's probably just saying at this point, look, give it to him.
That's further video evidence. The pass hit the ground. It is incomplete.
Whoa.
A 4th down and 10 for Vanderbilt at the Vanderbilt 46-yard line.
Let's take one more look. And I think that's what he was doing. He was getting the spot from the officials. That's what took so long. And if you Steve Spurrier, that's what you're saying.
They must have had a different angle than we did on that one. That looked like a catch from here. And from the angle that we showed you.
I was too busy watching the breakup. I hate to say it. So let's see it one more time. Does this ball touch the ground right? Yep, that's a good call.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's a good call by the officials.
So Carolina takes it over. That is, without question, the proverbial nail in the coffin here.
No. It's bringing up.
That's right, incomplete. I take it back. It is.
I think that was 3rd down, and this is 4th down.
They've got the yard marker. The yard marker guy is still confused. He's got it on 1st down.
He's confused. I'm confused. Coach Spurrier's confused.
A lot of confusion for what, in a lot of ways, is a meaningless play. Now it is indeed 4th down and 11. We can move on with our lives, and Earl Bennett.
I wonder if he caught this one.
Maybe they'll review this one, too.
Don't send it upstairs.
They're going to give it to him, and we'll see if we can get by. You know, they keep talking about speeding up the game. Here's a piece of advice. When it's an 18-point game with 90 seconds left, don't review every close call. That would speed up the game a little bit rather than moving the clock all the time. I still haven't figured that one out. 1st and 10.
Uh-oh.
Another big hit. That's a loose football picked up by Carolina. That's Nathan Pepper. Nathan Pepper down the sideline and knocked out of bounds near the 10-yard line. They'll mark him out of bounds at the 13.
I will guarantee you Casper Brinkley was sitting on the sideline and said, Coach, let me get a pass rush in right now. Coach sent him in. He goes in, lines up a defensive end. They run a little game, and he forces the fumble on a big hit. Watch Casper Brinkley coming off the defensive left side, but your right side out of your pitcher. Comes in with an inside move. Pepper has the outside move, and Brinkley gets home.
Nathan lumbering all 285 of them.
Now, why wouldn't you give Stafford Davis a carry after that?
Well, Leonard is in the game.
Well, yeah, Leonard Stafford, I'm sorry. Give him a carry. Let him get one. And Mitchell's in the game, too.
That is Blake Mitchell at quarterback.
Hand off to the fullback. Come on.
Mitchell going to give it to Boyd, and Boyd is drugged back for a loss.
Come on, one more play. You got one last chance to give it to my man, Leonard. No, don't take him out. They're going to take Leonard Stafford out.
Leonard is done for the day.
Oh.
Now, the question is now, the old Steve Spurrier, backups in, throw a touchdown here.
Well, he's got 3 receivers in the game right now.
He does.
I don't think he'll throw the ball.
Mitchell, the handoff. And that is seldom used Bobby Wallace, sophomore out of Conway, and that's going to do it. Gamecocks impressive in this one, dominating the second half and winning it by a final score of 31-13. Both coaches shake hands. Gamecocks well on their way now in that Eastern Division race. 3-2 in the Southeast Conference. Vanderbilt falling to 1-4. Pat, been a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
For Pat Perduto and everybody else back in the truck, Mike Morgan saying so long from